The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Dallas, Fort Worth. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the finest experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. While we're sitting here waiting for our first expert to come on, and this is the first Tuesday of the month, and that's our neuropathy, our Dallas Fort Worth neuropathy show with Dr. Tim Uselton. I'm sure he'll be joining us in just a minute. While we're waiting for Tim to come on, if you're tuning into the Ask the Experts for the first time, this show has been running for 15 years. We started off with radio in about 30 cities, and we just, I guess we exhausted radio and found that podcast is a much better way to go, and we could reach a lot more people. So we offered the show on iHeart, Spotify, YouTube, Apple, about 70 different platforms. And we welcome you. We do shows on legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We have got experts who've been with us as long as 12 years. And some of our greatest shows are tax relief, HOA, condo association, neuropathy. We just got personal injury law, just so many different areas that we do. I'm kind of looking, excuse me if I'm kind of looking for to see if Tim has written me. Sometimes we send out the link, and for some reason they get lost in space. So I'm kind of watching for Tim's email to come into it. I checked and made sure I sent him the link today. But just a little bit more about Ask the Experts. If you have a profession, you're a doctor or a lawyer, or you deal in home improvement. By the way, when I said home improvement, we do a lot with public insurance adjusters. But whatever type business you have, you can contact us at 954-336-3767 and tell us what part of the country you're from. This just happens to be our Dallas Fort Worth show. I'm actually I lived in Dallas most of my life, went to high school in Dallas, went to college at the University of Texas in Austin, but I make my home in South Florida. Been here for about the last 15 years. But you can actually come on a show where you can reach, especially targeting. Like today, we're talking about neuropathy, and you can actually target people who are suffering from neuropathy or might not even realize it, that they have neuropathy, which is a major health issue, and learn about neuropathy. And we bring you the finest experts. But if you're looking to come on a show that has a wide reach of audience. This is an incredible way. And I think the most important thing is how we can fit it into your budget. There's a lot of businesses out there that can't afford the big to advertise like the big national people do, or even people who do regional advertising. You can literally come on our show, and our rates are unbelievably low, plus all the information that you get. We do a 25-minute, we do a live show Monday through Friday, and each show is targeted in a different part of the country. We're very big in California, Florida, Illinois, Texas. We're very big in uh, Missouri, Tennessee, uh, really big in Florida and in California. But you can literally come on our show, reach a large audience. Uh, I handle all the interviewing only because I've been doing it for 15 years, and I kind of have a good feel of what the audience wants, how they want questions directed. We have a lot of, for some reason, we have a lot of functional medicine physicians coming on our show. One of our functional medicine experts in Georgia has been with us for 2 years. He actually now, besides our show, has his own website, his own uh, podcast that he does, and it's an incredible show. It's the first Wednesday of the month at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, and we also replay it throughout the month. We also have a function of medicine doctor in for Dallas Fort Worth. She's been with us for 2 years. Her show is the last Wednesday of the month at 5:25 Eastern Time. That's 4:25 Central Time for the Dallas Fort Worth area. She's been with us for a long time. We on our functional medicine shows, we talk about weight loss. We talk about hormone, hormone replacements. We talk about the skinny injection. That's the big injection, like Ozempic. Uh, and then we've got a new functional medicine doctor for San Antonio that's joining us. We have one in Portland, Oregon, who's joining us. We have a functional medicine, which is going to be coming on this afternoon at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. That's 2 o'clock Pacific Coast time in Los Angeles for functional medicine. Functional medicine has become such a huge area, and we know that a lot of people do not know what functional medicine is. And kind of just to describe, and again, I'm kind of checking back my emails as I talk to you, uh, making sure that I haven't gotten an email from um, Dr. Udison. I mean, he once in a while, he's a very busy doctor in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and he's been with us for several years. But once in a while, um, he has emergencies like other doctors do, because he's usually right on time. So that's fine. We're going to talk about. We've got about another 10, 12 minutes left. We're going to talk about the Ask the Expert show. Again, if you would like, whether you're a financial company, if you're in a home improvement company, air conditioning, plumbing, we do a lot of restoration shows. But if you deal in that, roofing is another big area for us. Uh, like I said, we also do wealth management. We've got a wealth management show that's been with us for 4 years in Tampa. That's with us twice a month on Mondays at 9 o'clock Eastern time. But if you're a lawyer, it doesn't matter what area of law that you practice in, whether it's personal injury, workers' comp law, criminal law, family law, bankruptcy law, tax relief, uh, estate planning is another big area for us. You can call us at 954-336-3767, and our office will be more than happy to walk you through the show. It is so easy to do. The nice thing is, when we did radio, we had to literally go into studio to do the show. Now you can do our show right from your office, just like we do. You do the show right from your office, uh, and then just the fact that our show is on roughly about 70, 75 platforms, and all the top platforms like iHeart, Apple, Pandora, YouTube, Facebook, and we promote our shows very heavily. Like today's show in Dallas, we targeted the Dallas Fort Worth area uh, with uh, information that our show would be airing live today. So our company literally markets your show in your area, targeting your audience. And then Facebook promotes the show. Our show is also run on W4CY. You can actually go to the website www.w4cy.com. And we also do a restaurant show, a South Florida restaurant show. And I don't even know if I told our great producer, Rebel, this. We just found out last week there is a large website that uh, it talks about restaurant shows, restaurant podcast shows around the country, and they have a top 100 restaurant shows. And I got to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. We are number 26 on the top 100 restaurant podcast, and I was really um, flattered when we heard about this. It's a great show. It runs, if you're in the South Florida area, it runs on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And the reason why I say this is there's so many people who travel to the South Florida area for vacation. And, the number one question our show gets from people all across the country is, where is a good restaurant to dine at? And they usually give it to us by cuisine. Uh, South Florida is a very big area. It encompasses Dade County, which is Miami. It encompasses Broward County, which is Fort Lauderdale. Palm Beach County, which is Boca and Palm Beach area. It covers a wide area, and our show finds the top restaurants. Not only do we find the top restaurants, but we also find the worst restaurants. So that's the degrading part about uh, our job. But you can go to www.eatandcritique, tvshow.com. You can also sign up. It's free to sign up on our website, and you can follow our show. It's got all of our favorite, I think it's got our top 20 restaurants in the South Florida area. But every week we go and we do a what's called a tasting at different restaurants every week. And then on the following Monday, we come on and talk about our tasting. We show pictures. I mean, it's a pretty incredible live show, but that's all part of the Ask the Experts family. Again, if you would like to become an expert, your show is 25 minutes long, though we do have probably several, maybe 4 or 5 of our experts who literally do a 50-minute show each month. Your show is once a month, so it doesn't take a lot of time out of your schedule, incredible rates, and it's just such an easy show to do. Again, you can call us at 954 336 3767. There's some really cool things. We have a chat line if you're on YouTube that listeners and viewers can actually write in their questions. And we've got some shows that get 10, 15, 20 questions during the show. Um, I think I'm just thinking about we do an HOA condo association law show. So for you people who live in a condo or HOA in the South Florida area, in the Tennessee area, in the California area, in the Houston area, we have shows that talk about what uh, your rights are within the association. It talks about it targets board members on what they can do, and a lot of it's about new law. I know we're here in Florida. We are having all types of uh, oh problems with the associations Duly because the rates just keep going up, and it's not the association's problem. It's just the cost of everything is going up, and people are having a hard time uh, keeping up, especially here in Florida, because now they have to do surveys here now after the collapse of the towers in the Miami area several years ago. There is a lot of new laws now, and you can actually watch or listen to a show like ours and learn about these new laws. And some of them are quite pricey because now here in Florida, you literally have to uh, finance and not wait 10 years. You have to do it now to prepare for expenses that are coming up because especially these buildings that are 20 and 30 years older, there's a lot of things wrong with them. And listen, you're talking about look at all the people who died in the collapse of the towers. So they're very strict now here in South Florida, and it's become very expensive for condo and homeowners. Um, it's really become really sad. And plus, with mortgage rates being up, it makes it even more difficult to sell your condo. But we do shows on this, and most of those shows are all 50 minutes long. There's so much information about it's called community association law. Uh, but like I said, those shows we have been running some of them as long as 12 years with us, and they still get a huge amount of calls that come in uh, texts that come in. I guess it doesn't look like Tim is going to make it today. We've made it really easy for Tim because it's the very first uh, Tuesday of the month, and again, I'm looking back at my emails. Once in a while, we'll have a expert who did not receive their email, even though we sent them out. I don't see anything from Tim, so I'm just gonna. We've still got about, I think, 8 minutes left. I'm gonna just continue educating you about our show, Ask the Experts. And I know there's a lot of Ask the Expert shows out there. I think ours is probably has to be one of the longest running shows just because we were on top radio stations in every market. Um, and boy, we had about 60 to 70 shows a month. Now with podcasts, we've kind of condensed it because we have a lot of our experts who want the entire state, not just the city. So when you do radio, you cannot do a whole state. You have to do modulate in your area with when you are doing terrestrial radio. I love podcast so much more now because we can reach a lot more people. Uh, Also, that for those of you who don't know about talk radio, most talk radio for a smaller company is really only available on the weekends. All the national people grab up the weekly shows, plus they're a lot more expensive during the week uh, because less people listen to talk radio on the weekends than they do during the week. So we always got what was left over. Now with podcasts, we can do our shows now like we do Monday through Friday. We don't even do a weekend show anymore. It's so much easier to do. And we have found also that a lot of our experts also listen to podcasts. And it was really strange with radio. We would contact companies and they would go, do people even listen to AM radio? Because they didn't. There was a lot of people who did not listen to talk radio, especially on the AM dial. And that's where most of your talk stations were on AM radio. Now it's a little bit different now because of podcasts. There's a lot of FM stations that are doing talk radio now. But when we had our show with radio, there was very few FM stations. And if you didn't listen to talk radio on AM, you didn't think anybody did, which really wasn't the case because we were still had a good sized audience, but not like the audience that we have now with podcasts. And I love the fact that, let's say if you miss one of our shows, you can go into iHeart, you can go into Spotify's library, and you can go into YouTube if you want to watch the show, and you can literally find past shows. Whereas with radio, it wasn't as easy to find past shows. Some of the bigger radio stations like iHeart did make that available, but some of the smaller stations, I remember we were on a station in Houston, rather big station, but it was an independently owned station. Actually, it was owned by, and still is, the lieutenant governor of Texas, Dan Patrick. He owned the station in Houston. but he only had the one station. So he did not have, even though he was a large station, had a huge audience, he didn't have the capacity to do what the larger stations like iHeart could do. But that's why we're so happy. It's really funny how um, we got educated on podcasts. We got a report coming out, and you'll see this next year, that Ford Motor Company, with all their new electric cars they have coming out, they are taking the AM stations out. So, as I just told you before, that a lot of talk stations, radio stations, run AM radio. So, that was one of the reasons why we started really looking at podcasts. But the biggest reason was there is a podcast now, which was the second largest radio talk show. Uh, Number one was Rush Limbaugh. Number two was uh, Michael Savage. I'm sure some of you people have heard of him. Uh, he went from 700 stations to podcast, and I couldn't understand why you would give up your audience like this. And this was about 7 years ago. And I was thinking, how could you give up this large radio audience that you had built up and move it over to podcast? And come to find out, he was a lot smarter than I am, and I see that we've run out of time. Um, that's going to do it for. Well, I'm looking at my clock. Hey, I'm sorry for those of you who tuned in today for the Neuropathy Show. This is going to do it for us today. We have another show coming on right after this one. And thank you for putting up with my talk again. 954-336-3767. If you'd like to have a show and ask the experts, we'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.